Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hanging with Howie. Tonight, I have with me from Maryland, Bill Marsh, and from Boston, Massachusetts, John Cawley, and from Swinging, Temecula, California, Jay Brannon. Welcome, gentlemen. Tonight, I got a surprise for you. It's going to be a short little, like, 2-minute tutorial, and then we'll discuss some things after that, or I'll answer any questions that you have. So it seems that these battery packs are all the rage right now, since John posted that they had the Jackeries on sale at Home Depot. And Jackery is a well-known brand. My only problem with them is that they are lithium ion, and the ones that I use are Life PO4, which they're much safer. And I will do a screenshot to show you some things here. And here we go. First slide. With the lithium ion, those battery packs, including like even the Omars that we were all using a few years ago, they only last 2 to 3 years, or 300 to 500 charge cycles. The charge cycle is completely depleted and then brought up to 100%. So, let me see. I've got to try to minimize this here. Just give me a second. And we'll go to the next slide. Oh, wrong way. Okay, this is what I was talking about. The Life PO4 batteries. They last 5,000 charge cycles. The good thing about this, besides that you get 10 times the amount of use out of it, is that they last 10 years. Now, how would you size the right one for yourself? If you already bought one, or you're thinking of buying one, you would get like a kilowatt meter that we've talked about endlessly. Find out how many watts your equipment is going to draw. And here's the calculation for that. My particular unit, the Life Pro 4, is a 300 watt hour unit. Now you multiply that by 0.85, and that is for the inverter losses, and that equals 255. I go down here, I take 255 and I divide it by the watts that I'm using. When I did my test, I did, like a cocktail hour, then I did dinner hour, and that was about 35 watts. But then when I brought it up to full dance floor volume, it was peaking at 45. So I said, okay, let's just take the most extreme. And I took the 45 and divided that. That gives me over 5.5 hours of run time. So you guys, when you see this on YouTube, those of you that are not here right now, you can actually just pause and do that formula for yourself, and you will be able to calculate what one to buy. As an example here, this is the Life Pro. And can you see that? There we go.
Like 87%?
87%.
Yep.
That 87%, this unit right here was used at Beret. It was used at Beret for 5 hours, and it powered the laptop, and it powered some phones, or not the laptop, the iPad. It powered 2 iPads. And then I had people, I let the word out, hey, anybody need their phone charged? Because a lot of people were taking video. And I plugged in, I charged 5 phones. And the proof's in the pudding. I'm still at 87% after 5 hours. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents on the difference between lithium ion, which will last 2 to 3 years, and the LiFePO for batteries and how to size it. So is any of you guys considering buying one or have any battery powered devices? Go ahead there, Bill.
Well, you talked, I've been considering them for a while. You brought them up once before in the chill room, and I had forgotten that you talked about the brand you talked about. Not sure if I'm supposed to say that name or not.
You can. It's a Tenergy.
Yeah.
They've been around longer than Jackery, and they're both very good companies. Yeah.
But yeah, so I had forgotten you had mentioned that one, and I had considered getting the Jackery during Amazon Prime days because the price was really good for the 1,000 watt one.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I didn't, because I'd rather buy 2 of those 300s and instead, to be able to split them up and use them in better ways, and it's still less money. So,
well, I did it for 2 reasons: lighter, faster setup and tear down, because I can set that one each underneath each speaker.
Yeah.
And it reduces the wiring, because all I have is the wire coming down the pole to it. The only wires I have is from my controller, is the signal going out to them, and that's it. So, and everything in my coffin is all battery powered. So it makes for a very, very quick setup. How about you, John? Have you messed with any battery things or considering it at all?
No, I haven't pulled the trigger on anything but that looks like the better deal if it's got a longer shelf life. Because if it's going to sit for someone like me that isn't always out in a field or in a park, I know it's going to be fine for 5,000 charges. That's, the science tells you that's going to be the better deal long term for something that may not get used, but 2 or 3 times a year.
Right.
But if you're at an event and you set up a table, like a charging table for people, you could put that underneath and it'll definitely survive the night.
Yes, definitely. I was hoping Brian would be here, because I was going to mention to him an improvement on his idea from 4 years ago about providing a phone charging station. With one of these, you would be able to keep everybody happy. You don't have to run an extension cord. You just have that little table off to the side, like I do. And it's just, hey, phone charging station, lay some business cards there. Bob's your uncle, How about you, Jay? What are your thoughts?
Well, about 20 years ago, I had to do an event in Balboa Park in San Diego, and they were very upfront about, there's no power. And it's so long. I think I just gotten the DAS speakers, and I would have had 2 CDJs and a mixer. And it was a daytime event, so no lights. And I went to Fry's when they were in business and bought this 100-pound gray football-looking thing with 2 plugs. You could jump-start a car, and you could fill your tires. And I went to the park with it, and it caused a 60-cycle ground loop. There was a hum the whole time. But it lasted a good 3 hours first time. It never quite lasted that well again. And even while you were talking, there's probably 3 events this year coming up where I can run 50 feet of extension cord, or I could roll up with a little box and go, oh, I got this. The problem for me is I use the 10% rule, which is if I can invest 10% of the gig to buy this, I'd order it on Amazon tonight. But something tells me this is probably 20 or 25% of my average gig. And to be completely honest, as great of an idea as it is, it just hasn't come up enough. I think I told you guys I'm doing a Gobo this Friday. I still have my ordered NLFX Pro for my last Gobo that was in 2013. So when people say you should upgrade to this Gobo light, I haven't used the one I
Yeah.
own in 6, 7, 9 years.
Right.
Why,
Mhm.
you know, but I didn't, I've never heard of Life Pro. I mean, I've heard of lithium ion, but I've never heard of Life Pro before. So lasting
It's
10 times longer. If you're out camping or you're doing
right.
stuff all the time in
Mhm.
a parking lot, or if you want to sell that as a new, if you said it's $300 to buy it, and I thought I could sell myself in parking lots as a, you know, the only DJ in town who can play anywhere at any time in a field. Yeah,
Mhm.
because all my lights are battery. Why not make the whole rig battery? So I can see the advantage of buying it.
Right. It is. I mean, a lot of people went and rushed to buy them because they sold out. And my suspicion is that a lot of these that have been out there for a few years, they're getting rid of their inventory and they're going to the upgraded version of the lithium battery because it still is lithium to a point, but the chemical makeup renders it very, very, very safe. It does not pillow. It does not catch fire. About the worst thing I've heard is, they just break. And if you're under warranty, you just turn it back in, but they're light. And like I said, just, one of these under each speaker for the outdoor things, or even, maybe saving the day. You're somewhere where, and it's happened to me one time where a thunderstorm knocked out the lights.
Right.
And I was able to, I went right to the couple. I said, let's talk to the venue manager. And it's like, look, if you're okay with it, I have battery lights here. I go, if you notice the music's still going, it's your call. Do you want them to have their wedding or not? And he goes, oh, absolutely. Staff scurried and lit some candles in those little votive type things and put them on all the tables. And we carried on, and, you get to be the hero, so to speak. But then,
well, I have that now with lighting because of you, because I have an iPad. And even though I use a plug-in, the bridge, I have your, 8 AA or 10 AA battery pack.
yeah.
So if there was an emergency and I had a big light show going on, I at least know I can white out a room.
Yes.
I'd have to yell because I don't have power going to the speakers. I did determine that if you take a USB charger and plug in a USB cable to a USB powered controller, you can run the controller. The challenge is, how do you get the speakers to run?
Right here, I got these on sale for $200. They're probably $240 now on Amazon.
But I'm curious, when you gave the numbers of what those are capable of, and I'm just asking, not to put you on the spot, why do you run 2?
So less cables. And I
But
know
couldn't you run one of those under the table with a power strip and be done?
I could, but then I'd have to run extension cords from each speaker under the table.
Right, but so your speakers aren't right next to your table.
Well, it depends on the event. Right now I've got all of August. I've already done 2 events and I've got 2 more. So I'll have one under each one, and it's basically you plug it in, you take that 10-foot cord, boom, it's powered. The only other thing that I have to do is plug in a microphone and then 2, signals out for the speakers, and I'm ready to go. I turn on my controller, my laptop. That's it.
Is your controller bus powered?
My controller is these are still working because I read the manual and I know how to keep these Omars conditioned. And these are like, what are they, 1.5 pounds? So I have that right in the back of my controller in my case, coffin, whatever you want to call it. So that when I get there, I just turn stuff on, and that's about it. USB cable to the laptop. The controller's on, then two cables. It's a very quick setup. I can set up, in about 15, 20 minutes. And, it may be useful for some people because not everybody is at this, you're at the same place where you can run an extension cord. But I see a lot of people out there, and what they'll use is like the Maui 5 Go's, let's say, which are great speakers. They last about 3 hours or so. And they'd be great for, like a cocktail hour on a deck or remote or a ceremony. But I just thought, well, why do I want to have all this speaker inventory when I can still use my tops and the Tenergy and just have it right underneath it,
Find out how much, I'm very sparing with gaff tape because it's so expensive, and I use NLFX Pro. I use the 2-inch because you can fold it in half.
Yeah.
So I can rip the middle and make it go twice as long. Because I think it's like $35 or $40 a roll. You get DJs that lay a lot of extension cords at gigs that are going through 2 or 3 of those a month. There's an argument to be made. They're better off spending $500 to get 2 of those than they are spending $450 a season going through 10 rolls of gaff tape.
Yeah, and the thing of it is that, like was mentioned, was it you, John, that mentioned the shelf life? I think this you charge this to 100%. It can sit on the shelf for 10 years. I mean, not that you would. I mean, if you're serious enough to invest in these, you'll use them. I mean, not everyone is fortunate enough to be a preferred vendor like you are, Jay, where you have, over 25 events or something at the same venue where that venue. But
no, there's always challenges. The new venues I have, it's an S show when it comes to, you guys would make, and it off topic a little, it blows my mind. So you want the DJ to set up right here every wedding? Yes.
Yeah.
And you still want to put the power 75 feet behind them? Wouldn't it be worth it to spend a couple $100 on an electrician? I don't know what it costs, but to run a conduit under the ground with a little breakout box with a couple of little,
it's about $2.50 a foot.
Yeah. So, I mean, it would seem to make sense that, I don't know about your regions, but out here, what was once a 1-bedroom apartment is now a sprawling vineyard wedding venue.
Yeah.
So this is the venue. It looks like your driveway. No.
Right.
That's actually the dance floor and the dining area. Where's the kitchen? Right there. So in the garage. That's not a garage. That's a dining experience room.
Well, I mean, everybody remembers the Howie box before there were powered speakers. I noticed that, and that I did a tent wedding with that so that I didn't have to run 100-foot extension cord because it was in somebody's backyard. I'd be going through their bathroom window and plugging in, and they're like, "Yeah, we got an extension." I said, "I don't need it. I'm fully self-contained." They were like, "Whoa, really?" So, I mean, there are advantages, and then, like you said, your return on investment, your 10% rule, Yeah,
so. I mean, like I said, if you said to me tonight, that's $150, I'd buy it for the sheer experience of being able to say, you know what, I got a 4-wheel drive Jeep. Maybe I go off road someday, and it'd be good to be able to have full power. By the way, for what it's worth, Friday night's dive bar set, halfway through, my wife motioned to go outside, and I didn't say it on air. Every house on my street but mine, the one next to me, and the one next to them were dark.
Whoa.
Everyone lost power till 11:30 Friday night, except for the 3 houses here. So, I mean, in today's world, that's, post-COVID, having the ability to be able to run things in an emergency situation, it's probably a good value just to purchase it, just to have it.
Well,
just to make sure.
I have used it at home when we had the power go out for a thunderstorm. I get my internet, it's hardwired. So that was still on. I just didn't have electricity. But I did have electricity.
Yep. Yeah. Box to the rescue. There you go.
And I have 3 of these. So,
well, you think about the times we go walking into gigs and you get the hum from all the outlets on the walls because everything's not grounded. And you got that buzz.
Good point.
You know, just the what if factor. It's like, geez, I can't get clean power at any of these outlets because I've run into a few of those. I did a New Year's party.
Old venues are like that. I've had ones where they don't even have grounded outlets. You literally, if you don't have the great break or whatever the official name is,
plug, the little 3 to 2 plug
with the 3 to 2. Like literally, there's a couple old venues that are like, yeah, no, we haven't upgraded any of the building. I'm like, there's no grounds. Yeah. They're like, yeah, no, the outlets are all just 2-prong. You know, this is a place from the 1920s and 30s, 50s, yeah. You know, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, if I burn the place down, I warned you. Like, none of us have anything that isn't going to be grounded.
Well, you know, that is a real concern because we're all old enough to remember the passive days. You remember if it was a little bit moist out or there was no ground and a guitar player they're playing metal, getting a shock from the steel springs, touch your lips to the microphone.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Ace Frehley got knocked off stage, and he's not the only one.
That's how Shock Me got written.
Yeah, he grabbed the handrail coming down down at a Kiss show, and they hadn't properly grounded everything, so he ended up making a circuit. I think, Howie, if I was that company, I don't know if I'd sell to DJs as much as I'd sell to venues, where if they don't have a backup generator, because like I said, I know I can make a room go white with no power.
Right.
20 or 30 lights. But what's a venue to do if something should come up? What do they need to run that this would assist them with? I think there's probably a lot of, you know, pretty interesting outcomes. Photo, not so much. Photo booth, you know what? If I owned a photo booth, I'd probably send one out. Just in case the venue goes down or the power goes out, I could at least say, hey, everybody, I'm really sorry. We still have a half an hour left. If you guys want to jump in the photo booth, it's still working.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, like the hero. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's areas where it's definitely of interest. And if I told my son Connor about this, you know, now that I think of it, I probably will get one, but for sheer fact of that he could take it in the plane or take it going somewhere else, or I could take it at a gig, or I can see the multi-layered usage of it. And you know, it's like spare tires. How many flat tires have you had in your driving career? I've had 2 or 3.
Yeah,
not
maybe.
Many.
Yeah.
How many times has the power gone out? 2 or 3 times the power's gone out and I've been stuck.
Yeah.
You know, and you luckily have a bunch of USB chargers, but having something like this would be a real godsend in today's world.
Well, now that you mention that, you know, we had talked about the Light Pro and the lithium ion, these jackeries that we got, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago? And Brian and I did videos on them, and then everybody started buying them. And the price went up. We got them for $80. Mine are still working because I conditioned them. Okay. However, you know, they're limited in capacity, but it's also something you can't take on a plane or anything because it's lithium ion, and it's possible that they could pillow. I know some that have. I mean, nothing's perfect, but the Life PO4 won't do that. They're so much safer and they last so much longer. But the people that did buy the lithium ion ones, not to worry. If you bought that big unit, I did the calculations on that, and if you used it 50 times a year and it punked out after 3 years, that would only be $4 a gig. So it's not all bad news, but the reason they're on sale is more than my suspicion is they're going to upgrade to the Life Pro 4.
Now, Howie, I have to ask, is that the name of the battery or is that the name of the unit?
No, that's the name of the battery technology, the chemistry of it. Lithium ion is different, and the Life PO4 is a different chemistry, and it's not explosive. It won't self-ignite. It won't pillow.
Do they make 18650s? Do they make like every type of battery in
No. This particular unit is made by Tenergy.
Okay.
Right. And that's the company that I've been using forever. They've been around a very long time, have a great reputation. And Tenergy does make the rechargeable AA batteries that I used in the Howie box. And they make the 18650s as well. They're a battery company. They make everything. But they have very good quality control. They've been around over 20 years.
And they're in Jersey. They're in Tenafly, Jersey. That's
no. Tenergy is from your neck of the woods in California.
Yeah, I think they're from Tenafly.
No, you think so? Okay.
I think they're Jersey.
You know what? Speaking of pilots, there is a small hobby airport in Tenafly.
That's what I'm thinking about.
See the last name Fly, but seriously, there is a small hobby airport there.
A lot of people from New York get busted trying to fly out on extradition out of Tenafly.
Yeah,
I watch Law and Order.
Watch Law and Order. Mm-hmm.
I've watched SVU and SUV. I know.
All right, you guys, you have anything you would like to bring up?
What episode? When can we tune in to see it tear apart the Tenergy box to get inside it to see what makes it work? Or does that void your warranty?
I don't care. I always take them apart. I know what's in there. There's a circuit board. There is, which is maybe the size of this phone. Okay, and then there is. And that is the inverter. And then there's a second one, and then it has a little thing, and that's the screen that you see. And, right here. And that's it. 2 circuit boards, and then the rest of it is just a battery pack.
Well, don't be surprised, because I know Elon watches our show, because I get text from him once in a while. Don't be surprised if Tesla has one of these next week.
Yep.
The size of a book of matches.
And the prices are going to go way up.
Oh, it's going to be $30,000.
Now you've talked about it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll be that. Well, he did build that. Where did he build that thing? That $1 billion battery place, was that in Arizona that he built that?
Or Texas or something.
Yeah,
I think Texas.
I wouldn't be surprised if he moves to LiPo for the cars, because just last week they were showing a car a Tesla that caught on fire, and they couldn't get it out. So they called the local contractor, and he dug a ditch and made a moat, and they filled it up. And then what they did was they pushed the Tesla into the water to put it. They couldn't put it out. They tried to put it out for 4 hours. So I would say he's probably going to go away from lithium ion and go to the LiPo 4. It'll be more money, but it'll be a lot safer as well.
Yeah. I mean, he's got that one in the garage that everyone out here is starting to get, that you can charge your car, but you can charge parts of your house.
Right.
So this would seem like the next reasonable thing, like take it with you, and you've got the cool logo on it. You go to the beach, you got your radio, and you're this, and you're that, and you're,
Well,
as a matter of fact, they even advertise this'll run a small refrigerator as well.
How many beers can be in the refrigerator at a time, though?
I think in your case with the seltzer ones,
because they take up less space.
I think you could probably get at least a case in there, and you'd be good.
All right, so they're not there yet with the technology.
I want a full size fridge. So you can just chain the boxes. 1, 2, 1.
Yeah. Do the Howie effect. Have like 18 of them running in your hotel room.
Just link them all
exactly.
Up.
Yeah. I could find a way to, chain them together. Yeah.
I'd love to be Howie's roommate at a show. It's like, whoa, what are you doing? I was going to turn the lights on. No need. Hold on. Click, 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 click. Wow.
Yeah.
How come the TV's all in Russian? Oh, that's just a side effect of running it off the battery. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome idea.
All right. Does anybody have any final thoughts before we wave goodbye?
I don't.
All righty.
Great show.
Yeah.
All righty.
Really interesting.
Thank you guys for
Thank you, Howie.
being here. And as always, folks, when you finally see this, what is it after Easter, right, Jay?
Yes. Happy Easter, everybody.
It'll be on YouTube on the Disc Jockey News TV channel. And leave your comments there if you have an idea you want us to talk about. We'll be happy to oblige you. And with that, we bid you good night.
Happy Passover.